Welcome to the Houben Center at Holy Cross in Belfast. This is one of the premier cross-community centers anywhere in Northern Ireland, and we appreciate what Brian's done for us today. He actually fed us as we got in. We've been fed quite a bit. We're here today with 29 members of the Ancient Order of Hibernians in America to present our annual Christmas appeal, Freedom for Ireland donations. We've had a great opportunity to meet a lot of our recipients while we were here, and we're going to spend some time with some of them throughout the rest of the week. We're going to be in Belfast for the next 3 days. The Ancient Order of Hibernians in America is the only Irish organization, Irish-American organization, if you will, that has members in all 50 states of the United States. We're the largest Irish organization outside of Ireland. We're committed to the principles of the Good Friday Agreement, 1,000%. And we're here today with friends to issue donations for their programs who align with the principles of the Good Friday Agreement and the principles of our Freedom for Ireland platform. We have cross-community, we have cross-border, we have groups that do commemoration. We have groups that do justice. We're going to hear from Mark Thompson briefly. The one thing I'll point out, we've worked very hard in opposition to the Legacy Justice Bill that the United Kingdom has brought in place. And the one thing that has happened because of the Legacy Justice Bill, it's united all the parties, major parties in the North Ireland, together on one cause to fight that Legacy Justice Bill. And it's an important step as we're trying to help all the groups who work together. We began our stop coming north at the St. Patrick's Center. And I want to let everyone know that for the first time in years, no one on the national board have ever seen this happen before. We awarded an honorary membership to Tim Campbell on the 5th of the month for his work, then across community work at the St. Patrick's Center, and his work with our young ambassadors. The Ancient Order of Hibernians has committed to send 10 young ambassadors to the St. Patrick's Center every year moving forward. And Sean Pender pointed out to me that, 10 years, we're going to have 100 members under 36 years of age who have spent 2 weeks in the North Ireland meeting with many of the people in here today that are going to receive donations and so forth. So we're very excited for Tim's work, and we have a long-time commitment to our partnership. One of the things that happened in COVID, Mark Galvin said to me how difficult it was going to be for us to maintain the work of the Christmas appeal. But what we learned together through Martin's efforts and a lot of efforts from the people in this room that are on this tour, we've actually increased it dramatically. In the last 3 years, we've given out more donations than any other 3 years in the history of the Christmas appeal. And so that says a lot about the Ancient Order Hibernians, many who are on today, on this Zoom call today, and with us from their homes throughout the States. We had over 100 people register for today's Zoom. The biggest watch will be on YouTube. It'll go live immediately after. And the last thing I want to comment about the Ancient Order Hibernians, it's very important, is we're a nonpartisan organization. And our forefathers were brilliant in that they said that we may not support any political party or candidate. And the brilliance came in with the next line that says we may not oppose any political party or candidate, because they knew that the work the AOH was going to do in the future was going to require us to work with everybody out there. So when you hear we support A or B or C, the only thing we know is whoever's talking doesn't know the Ancient Order of Hibernians in America. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our chairman, of the Freedom for Ireland Committee, Martin Galvin.
Martin, just want to say very briefly, the monies that are given out today were contributed throughout the year by members across the country. And it's contributed because they're inspired by your work, the different ways that you work for Freedom for All Ireland. They want to help you and support that work. And I want to spend a special thanks to everybody watching today, everybody watching on YouTube. We're there, we're contributing to do the work, contributing financially, contributing politically. Again, for all of the work, for everyone working for Freedom for All Ireland. And our first Freedom for All Ireland grant today, we thought it was appropriate to go to our host, the Houben Center, the Passionate Peace Center. Passionate Peace Center.
Thank you very much. And first of all, you're very welcome to the Houben Center. And before going any further, just to send the best wishes of Father Gary to everyone. I was talking to him just before you arrived, and as you may know, Father Gary is ill at the minute. He's having a lot of difficulties with the eyes and is in a bit of a fight this week. So he hopefully has an operation on Wednesday morning. So we'd appreciate your prayers and your thoughts at that stage. The Houben Center was built as and stands as a sign of hope within this community. This community straddles both sides of the road. We don't have two communities here. We have one community that is divided, and we have many common links. I discovered recently my grandmother was born on in the heart of the Shankill Road, and for many years, that was never part of my story. It is now part of my story. So what we have here on a daily basis, we have people from both sides of the community coming into the centre. 4 nights a week, we have young people who are engaged in cross-community projects. And just last week, we received support for a project we've been doing with young men who have been engaged in interface violence just 100 yards away from the centre here on an ongoing nightly basis. And over the next year, we'll be working with them doing personal social development, looking at the choices they make in life, looking at the consequences of being involved in conflict. And at the end of October this year, we will hopefully bring them to Cape Town in South Africa when we introduce them to the reality of what it is like to be in gangs and the reality of what it is like to live in poverty. And it's a real sign of hope for them. A special hello to friends in Detroit. I will be spending this Patrick's Day parade in Detroit, and I have only one question to ask. Why did you not take the kick? So from everyone in the Houben Center, you're very welcome, and we look forward to seeing you all again in the near future. Thank you.
And we're going to try and have different members, different Hibernians present the check to each group to represent the fact that these contributions, what's being done today, is really the work of our organization, of our members across the country who support the Christmas appeal and are part of everything that we're doing today. Next up, Danny's already mentioned them. Group that was a leader in the campaign against the British Legacy Cover-Up Bill, leading the fight as the case goes to the European Court. And they're the people that we deal with for political guidance, work on issues like legacy throughout the year. And we all take credit for everything that they do and tell us to do. The group that leads the way for fighting for justice, Relatives for Justice, Mark Thompson.
Gormila Moyagit, Martin, Augustani, August, and visitors from America. You're all very welcome. It's great to see all faces, familiar faces. Danny mentioned earlier about the Good Friday Agreement. For families, the Good Friday Agreement give agency. Agency about the rights and the promises of equality under the law and for justice. And we've fought that battle, and we've taken that battle to the United States, where the Irish-American community have stood up and been counted and walked with families and walked with that document and said it needs to be a living document. It needs to be real. The British government tried to tear it up and are still trying to tear it up, as are other people. Yous have stood up and protected it, because in that document lies the seeds of truth and justice for the families. That's what it's all about. The devolution of criminal justice and policing provided for an attorney general. We petitioned, and families petitioned and reopened inquests. The British saw the potential of truth and justice and exposing what they did in our country to many people through collusion and elsewhere. In June of the other year, John Finucane, the MP for this wonderful constituency, and myself and others, along with Danny O'Connell and Martin and Sean and AOH, led a delegation to Washington, and we sought political support. We met the Speaker of the House, we met a number of people, and we lobbied. That led to congressional hearings, it led to webinars, and it led to pressure on the Irish government. And a combination of political power here in Ireland in opposition to the Legacy Bill, political power in the United States, solidarity among families and groups and lawyers and NGOs, culminated in the Irish government having to take the UK government to court in Strasbourg, whilst we take them to court in Belfast with families. That battle continues, and we will win that battle. We will win it. The sad thing is families will die off. Some of the families that have been on the webinars for the past 2 and 3 years, which have had a huge educational process about truth and justice in our country, but we will see it. And I want to thank each and every one of you. This grant has contributed to that work. We are so grateful for it. The beneficiaries of it are the families. It provides a holistic wraparound support, not just for justice, but for recovery and healing and memory and historical clarification. Thank you, each and every one of you that give from a cent to $1 and much more. It's so appreciated, and we couldn't do without it. Thank you so much.
Next, we're going to go to County Tyrone, and we're going to go to our first remote group, cross-community group, the Omagh Choir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. This is Daryl Simpson here from the Omagh Community Youth Choir. We just celebrated 25 years of existence in 2023. We were formed on the back of the Omagh bomb in 1998 with a mission to bring our young people together to provide peace and healing and solace to our community, and of course much further abroad too. We have travelled to the States in our time, not recently, not since COVID, unfortunately, but maybe we'll get the chance to come back again. It was lovely to see Danny and Martin come to Omagh on Thursday past and to show them the memorial garden and to talk a little bit about some of the work that we have done. It is interesting that our 25 years coincides with 25 years of the Good Friday Agreement, and we were cordially invited to a very special reception last year where all of the leaders of the original Accord who are still living were invited to partake. So it was an honour to be part of that process and to see that work still needs to be done within our communities. As I say, we are very grateful for the help from the AOH, the continued help I should add, and it is still our mission to go into communities and to sing and use our youthful voices. Mine maybe not so youthful anymore, but our young people's voices to bring communities closer together.
Thank you, Daryl. And we were able to present the check to Daryl in Omagh, and he will be touring the United States, so he hopes to see a lot of Hibernians over the next couple of weeks. Now go back to Martin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next recipient, actually, we're having technical difficulties. We were trying to go to Derry, to the Bogside Artists, the group that is so responsible for those beautiful wall murals, the People's Gallery across the Bogside that are emblematic of the conflict, that are definitely a tourist center. Kevin was able, actually wasn't silent the other day, brought us around on a tour. We were wondering how he'd fill 2 hours, and we could have gone 4 hours with the memories that he had, how he could detail each and every picture, what it meant. But we want to congratulate the Bogside Artists, and next year we're going to contribute so they get a computer with where we can understand, they can orally, and come on. Kevin, thank you.
Now Kevin and I communicated online, we will be posting our donation to the Bogside Artists. So you'll get to hear right from Kevin and learn a little bit about the Bogside Artists as well. Thank you, Kevin.
Next, we're going to go to County Armagh to, again, something Danny has mentioned, the St. Patrick Center, that great heritage of St. Patrick, and Tim Campbell.
Thank you very much, Martin. Can I thank you, Martin, for all of your hard work in administering the Christmas appeal, and thank you to all of the members who are listening out there all over America who have contributed over the last year to this. My name is Tim Campbell. I'm the director of the St. Patrick's Centre. It's the only permanent exhibition in the world about Ireland's patron saint. I've had the pleasure over the last number of days to welcome 29 members from the Ancient Order of Hibernians in America and many of your national board members to see the work that we do, which you contribute towards. St. Patrick is one of those symbols in Irish society that can unite everybody, and we encourage young people from all communities to get involved in our education programme, and we have over 3,000 young people who do that every year. The work that we do is supported by the Ancient Order of Hibernians. We are very much looking to the future because we work with young people, and we're particularly delighted to be able to extend that support into working with young Hibernians and to be able to host the our Friends of St. Patrick's Centre Young Ambassador Programme to be able to bring future young Hibernians to this part of Ireland to share all of our different traditions so that when they can go back, they will be the leaders of the future and they will help to be able to lead this organisation into the future. So we thank Danny, we thank the National Board, and we thank you all so much for your support. Brother Hibernians, thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Congratulations. Martin. You're done. You're done. Stay with the.
We're next going to go to a cross-community group located based in Belfast. Going to Bridges. I'm sorry. We're first going to go to, look, I can't even read my own writing. We're going to go to the group that preserves, keeps alive, keeps warm the graves of Irish patriots in Belfast. The group which means so much to the families, preserving the graves of hunger strikers and other patriots who died located in that area, Belfast National Graves.
First of all, can I thank you for your generosity? The AOH has been a cornerstone of the work that we have done in Belfast, not just this year or last year or 10 years ago, but for many, many years. And I'd like to thank all of those at home in America who aren't able to be with us today. I want to welcome home all the Hibernians who are here today. It's good to see us. It's always good to see us. But I want to thank those who are not here, as well as those who are here, for the generosity, for the effort they put in. It's very hard raising $1. It's easy taking $1, but it's hard to raise it. So on behalf of those in the National Graves, can I thank Danny and Martin and everyone else for the sterling work that they have done over many, many years. Can I also just alert you to one fact? The link between the National Graves and the Hibernians is a man called Brendan McFarland, who's commonly known as Vic. He's normally with us today. Unfortunately, he's unable to be here. He has an illness. He's been treated in a hospital, which means that he has to be isolated from crowds. But he sends his regards, he sends his pride, and he welcomes us all home. So on behalf of all the National Graves, thank you very much.
Okay, next we're going to have somebody who, well, he was in New York, he was in the MCC, in a prison for a number of years, and the impact of this person is such that they named a street after him, and he is today here representing the Greater New Lodge Cultural Society. Joe Doherty.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here today because, as you know, I've said it before, I was an honorary member of the AOH in Pennsylvania, California, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. Also I was honored to be the honorary Grand Marshal in about 7 or 8 cities across. Great support. So I'm welcome my fellow AOHers. I'm here representing the Greater New Lodge Memorial Committee. Our aim and objectives, of course, is to maintain the memorial garden on behalf of the 127 people who were killed there. It's not just for maintenance, but it's also an education because we work with young people you know, and looking back at the conflict, the wrongs of the conflict, the harm it has done on society, and of course, in remembrance of the families around there. It's great to see young people get involved in politics. You look at the assembly now, particularly young women that's participating in politics, getting ready old fuddy-duddies like Joe here, Joe Austin, old councillors and stuff. It's encouraging, and what we do a lot of field trips, talk to young people, particularly about our experiences, former activists and political prisoners, about our life, what we've contributed, and it's important for them to take that on. I'm very encouraged that this is the generation now that's going to see the reunification of Ireland. And I'm proud that we're going to be a part of that. That's going to be a peaceful, just liberation of the island of Ireland. Thank you very much. And thank you for the chat. Congratulations.
And again, you'll see different members of the Hibernian delegation that are here today presenting checks. Just as there are people around the country who have contributed to the Christmas appeal, we want to show and symbolize that the contributions that you receive, the contributions that are given out, represent the work of Hibernians across the country. We're going to go back to County Tyrone, a group that works with political prisoners in that area, ELU, meaning escape, and Frankie Quinn.
Hello, Tyrone, how is all keeping? I'm sorry about my throat. Was shouting yesterday at a Palestinian rally, so slightly off skew. Thanks very much for the donation again this year. It's greatly appreciated by the ELU Centre here in Tyrone, where we cater for ex-prisoners and their families who suffer from PTSD and cross-generational PTSD and lots of other difficulties, substance abuses and stuff like that. So your contribution goes towards counselling for these people and their families. Also, we do driving lessons. We put people through the driving test and the lorry test. This, of course, has the effect, the ripple effect. If you help one individual, a member of a Republican family, it also helps the wider family and the wider community. So with having a positive effect right across the board. So again, thanks very much. It was great to see you the other day in Carrickmore. And Chief Mahura Bal. Gora Mila Mayogat. Salam.
We were able to make the presentation to ELU directly. They came to Carrickmore to the Memorial Gardens there. We were able to make that presentation directly. Next, a group that the Ancient Order of Hibernians has a growing relationship with, group that's working to get the referendum that can bring about Irish reunification. Ireland's Future, represented by Colin Harvey.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colin Harvey, and I'm a board member of Ireland's Future. Who are we? We are a civil society organisation working to achieve a constitutional change on the island of Ireland. And we've been building political and civic discussions on this island and beyond this island. We have had events in the Waterfront Hall, the Ulster Hall, and the Three Arena. We have had discussions all over the island of Ireland and well beyond, including the US. We are planning a major event in the SSE Arena here in Belfast this June, to which you are all invited. So please, please be there with us in June. We are also producing a document in March of this year, Ireland 2030, which will set out a pathway to a referendum to achieve constitutional change. What that means is we are bringing thousands and thousands and thousands of people together to discuss a question that is framed entirely by the Good Friday Agreement, the choice that people have. What we are doing, we hope, is making those conversations focused, getting ready, preparing to achieve that change. So really today, what I would like to do is to thank you all, thank everybody watching for your support and assistance for this work. We really are so, so grateful. We could not do what we do without what you do. But I'm afraid I've got some good news. The thanks. The bad news is we want you to stay with us. because we need your help and support for the next stage of the journey. We need the US administration to be putting pressure on the British government to give us that choice. We need the Irish government to up its game in relation to the preparatory work. When we use the term Ireland 2030, we are serious. This is where we are going. We want to achieve a united Ireland. We are changing this place in the present and the future, and we're going to do that together. We need your help. A new Ireland awaits. Thank you all very much.
Let me assure Colin, the AOH has been for freedom for all Ireland, for Ireland since 1839, and we see no problem in staying with them to 2030 and beyond if it takes beyond. All right, our next group is one of the cross-community groups located in Belfast, Bridges Beyond Boxing.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, all the members that have made the trip over to Northern Ireland, guys. And thank you for all the guys that are watching back in the USA. We were inaugurated in 2016. The idea was that we wanted to bring kids from the island of Ireland and cross-community venture, but using boxing as the vehicle. But we really wanted to give them that cultural aspect once they got there and got them mixing together. The project was only meant to be a one-trip deal, but the AOH have got behind us and have been funding us from day one and has grown. This year is going to be a very special year in our history as we embark on taking 2 trips. We're doing a trip now in May. We're going to Buffalo and Boston, and then we're taking a trip then to Cincinnati and Detroit later on in the fall. Since we've started, we've engaged over 250 kids in probably 8 years. With us now, with the money and the support that we've been getting from you guys, we're able to do 2 trips, which means twice as many kids are going to get an opportunity that they probably wouldn't otherwise have had. So again, I can't thank you enough. I want to say thank you from all the kids, everybody that your money has helped, and I appreciate it and hope that you guys can stick with us for the next 8 years. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Next, we're going to go back to Tyrone, to the group that memorializes, preserves, keeps up the graves of Irish patriots who died in that county and in that area. Tyrone National Graves.
Imagine White is Misha Eamon Hanna. On behalf of the Tyrone National Graves Association, I'd like to thank all the members of the Ancient Order Hibernians for your continuing support and financial aid that you have given throughout the year and indeed other years. It is very much appreciated. Your financial support enables the Tyrone National Graves Association to carry out our vital work. Tyrone National Graves Association is an independent organisation that maintains the monuments, the graves of our patriot dead in Tyrone. Our members are dedicated and work on a voluntary basis to restore and maintain and commemorate those who died in the cause of Irish freedom. We rely solely on voluntary donations to carry out these works. Our members range from 18 years of age to 80 years of age, with some members now in their 50th and 55 years of membership. We meet every month as a committee to discuss for the works ahead in the process, and this can only be done with your help. So once again, I'd like to thank each and every one of your members for your continuing support, and hope to see each other again in the future. Go on, Margaret.
Next, we're turning to the group that fought for justice from 1971. And when they finally got a just verdict in an inquest, the British response was to prepare and talk about, have their queen talk about new legacy legislation that could stop that, cut that down for anybody else. That's how successful they were. The Ballymurphy Massacre campaign.
Hello, everyone. My name is Breach Foyle. I'm here representing the Ballymurphy Massacre families. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the AOH for your continued support throughout our long campaign. We have walked shoulder to shoulder with us around the streets of Ballymurphy, visiting the places our loved ones were murdered. You have sat with us in court as we heard the harrowing details of those 3 days in August. In 1971, you have championed our cause in America, Ireland, and London. We are truly thankful for all you've done. As you will know, our loved ones were declared innocent on the 11th of May, 2021. Siobhan Keegan declared our loved ones entirely innocent of any wrongdoing, and she further stated that the use of force was unjustified. That means someone is responsible for the murder. Since our inquest, we have met with the PSNI, the Director of Public Prosecution, to have the murders of our loved ones investigated and where the evidence dictates prosecution. They tell us the deaths of our loved ones are not a priority. They will keep them under review despite evidence that soldier M3 and M1341 committed criminal offences. We have also won our civil case against the MOD, receiving a significant settlement. Last week, the Butler brothers, Edward 11 at the time and Martin 9, who were shot and wounded during the Ballymurphy massacre, settled their cases for damage. But the McCarr families, they fight continually, and we are with them every step of the way. We are now fighting against the British government legacy bill of shame, which will deny all victims of the Troubles truth and justice and will grant an amnesty to the perpetrators. Last month, we brought a legal action against the UK government on the European Convention of Human Rights. We also support the Irish government interstate case. Like them, we believe this bill is not compatible with the European Convention. We are arguing that the Legacy Act breaches European conventional rights, and particularly Article 2. We have the right to a proper independent investigation. We are also challenging the amnesty provisions, which again breaches the conventional rights in that it would stop routine prosecutions. We will not stand by and allow the British government to sweep their war crimes under the carpet. Our fight didn't end when our loved ones were declared innocent. Then we got the truth. Now we want justice. Our work is not finished. We will continue to challenge the British government at every opportunity. We will support others along the journey for truth and justice, in particular the Spring Hill Westrack families who are currently going through their inquest. And we remember our loved ones for the innocent people they were. Your grant will help us continue our work for truth and justice and will allow us to commemorate our loved ones as they are never forgotten. Once again, thank you to the AOH for all your support. Thank you.
In 1978, there was an AOH National Convention in Killarney. And at that convention, a delegation from this group, led at that time by Lily Fitzsimmons, who was later elected to Belfast City Council, came in and made a presentation about the need for funds for the families of Irish political prisoners that this group was dispersing. And that presentation was so effective that a motion was made and it was carried, that at that time, and for a number of years afterwards, all Freedom for All Ireland funds of the AOH would go to this particular group, Green Cross, for the families of political prisoners. Fortunately, we now don't have that number of political prisoners. We don't have political prisoners now because of the Good Friday Agreement, but the work of Green Cross goes on, and they are our next representative.
On behalf of the Green Cross, I would just like to say a very strong Céad Míle Fáilte, agus tá Fáilte Ró Bháile to the members of the AOH. I'm very honoured today to represent the Green Cross. As an organisation, we're a charitable organisation which was formally founded in 1973.
but our roots go back much further than that. We drew our inspiration from the work of Irish Republican activists, who were mostly women, who campaigned on behalf of Irish political prisoners and their families, from the dark days of the Black and Tans right through to the aftermath of Operation Harvest. As resistance to British occupation intensified into armed struggle and political agitation in the 6 counties during the 1970s, the numbers of men and women imprisoned throughout the use of internment without trial and non-jury diplock courts grew into their thousands. Sadly, the number of men and women who gave their lives in the struggle also grew. Every one of our patriot dead had a family. All our prisoners had a family. Each of those families had to struggle to deal with the impact of their situation. Green Cross was established with the aim of trying to provide some assistance to those families in any way possible. And on a personal note, my own family were very grateful for many, many years for the support and strength that were provided to us from the members of the Green Cross. To provide even the most basic assistance to such a large number of people and families required much dedication and commitment. As a charitable organisation, we in the Green Cross have always had to rely on the help and donations of others. One of the most consistent and generous sources of that help has come from our Irish American families. The Ancient Order of Hibernians has always been an important part of that family, and we're very grateful for their support. While the nature of our work has changed in more recent times, the need for the services we provide has not. We remain engaged with the families of our patriot dead. We work with other Irish Republican organisations within the broad former prisoner community. Together, where needs are identified, we try to help in whatever way we can. As is the case in wider society, what we can do is dictated by the resources that are available to us. Your gift to our organisation is vital in helping us to continue our work across the Republican community. The pace of change in our struggle is no better shown than the historic moment when Michelle O'Neill took up her role as the democratically elected First Minister, the first Republican in the history of this state to do so. Our commitment to the Republican struggle remains as steadfast today as it always was. Our patriot dead families and the wider Republican family remain our guiding light. We have dedicated our lives to that objective. We work to that end and will continue to do so with the help and generosity of our friends in the AOH. And on behalf of the families of everyone involved, I would like to extend a very warm Belfast Gur Mila Mila Mayog to the Ancient Order of Hibernians. Thank you. Thanks.
Next, we're going to stay in, well, I should mention, we've talked about Green Cross and money for the families of prisoners. In addition to Joe Doherty, we have somebody else who was very well known for while he was a political prisoner in the, well, facing deportation proceedings in the United States. And he's here with us today, very much supportive of the AOH, and was a key member in building support for Freedom for All Ireland and the Christmas Appeal when he was in the United States. Malachy McAllister. We're next going to go to one of the groups that does investigative work about justice, about the killings, about why the British needs a legacy cover-up bill. Sean Murray, The Witness Project.
First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my American friends. It's good to see you every year here in Belfast. The Witness Project is an organisation that is dedicated to the recording, the restoring of archive for victims of state violence. An example of that work would have been last year's 50th anniversary for the New Lodge families, where 6 people were killed by the British Army in 1973. So that's just a small notion of the work that we do, and how the donations from yourselves go some way to making that work possible. We work closely with ONealalsa for Justice, and also with the likes of the Ballymurphy families we've worked in the past, the New Lodge families, and other victims right across the country. As I said, don't underestimate the what you've done for these families and us being a conduit for that. In the course of the next year, we're hoping also to train young filmmakers. Not that I'm getting that old myself, but it looks at me now with a grey beard. But to train young filmmakers that are coming through now to keep on and dedicating that work towards helping victims of political violence. But again, that work is never possible without the work of yourselves. And I want to thank you for all the work that you do in America. Don't underestimate how important it is for us and for the families. And it's all good to see you again. Okay, thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thanks for all you do.
Next to somebody we don't have a check for because we presented it to the family of Martin McGuinness and other committee members yesterday in Derry, but he's here to represent them to talk about the work of the committee to be part of this webinar. The chair of the Martin McGuinness Foundation, Aidan McAteer.
Thank you, Martin, and it's a great pleasure to be here today. A sunny Belfast afternoon, and to be with all the groups in here, the work that has been conducted with the help of the AOH, and particular thanks to Martin and Danny for the invitation to be here with you all today. On behalf of the Martin McGuinness Foundation, I want to thank the Ancient Order of Hibernians for the donation of this grant, which helps us in our work. This is the second year that we have received this grant. It's been enormously helpful to us in our work. It helps in two very specific ways. We run a bursary scheme every year to help people who are from a disadvantaged background or who face particular obstacles in accessing education and training, and therefore by assisting those people with their access and education and training, we help them into employment. And Martin always believed that the greatest way to empower people was through education, and that is one of the reasons why we conduct this bursary, and the grant from the Ancient Order of Hibernians will help us in that. The second tangible benefit of the grant is the Gaelic Blitz, which we run every year, which is to encourage young children to participate in Gaelic games, Gaelic football for women, or for girls and boys, for camogie and hurling, and that obviously helps in terms of fitness, mental well-being, and again another issue which Martin was very involved in all his life. Education and sport were such a massive part of what he did, but of course his life's mission was Irish unity and freedom, and I couldn't stand here today without mentioning that. And of course, in the last 2 weeks, we saw an enormous step forward in that very long and painful journey when Michelle O'Neill became the first nationalist Republican First Minister in this state, something which was never supposed to happen, which the state was constructed to prevent happening, and which my parents and grandparents probably would never have believed could happen. But it did happen, and it happened because of the enormous work and contribution of people like Martin, supported, of course, by everyone along that journey, including the Ancient Order of Hibernians. And again, I would just want to appreciate the work that they do to help us in our struggle, our long journey towards Irish freedom and unity. So, Gura Míle Maith Agam to everyone that has helped and contributed to us in that struggle. Thank you very much.
We're now going to go back to Derry, one of the iconic campaigns that not only brought a measure of success and justice, but been an inspiration to other families around the 6 counties who have also been fighting for justice, the Bloody Sunday Trust.
Martin, my name is Maeve McLaughlin. I'm director of the Bloody Sunday Trust, and I'm very pleased to be able to attend today's webinar on behalf of the Bloody Sunday Trust in Derry. I suppose 2023 has been a significant and important and busy year for the Trust, as we see the legal case proceeding against Soldier F, who is the only British soldier who's anyway facing any legal consequences to the murders on the streets of our city in 1972. It's also been busy, obviously, because part of our annual programme of events is the delivery of the anniversary programme, where we remember and acknowledge those murdered. But we look at that in the context of the current day. And one of the key pieces of work that your organisation and others have supported us to do this year has been the delivery of our first international school. And I suppose I say that in the context of the many lessons and learnings that the place we call home, Derry, has experienced. And increasingly how a place like Derry is viewed in relation to conflict transformation, issues around legacy and justice, and how we are almost viewed as a blueprint for other places coming out of conflict. The Museum of Free Derry, which is our signature project, is a place of struggle, but it's also a place of resilience, and it's also a place of education. And we have and we will continue to use the concept of one world, one struggle in relation to telling our story nationally and internationally. We'll continue to shine a spotlight where we see injustice or where we see inequality, and we'll continue to use our experiences in relation to other places or other people or other countries that are coming out of conflict. And it's fair to say that the Museum of Free Derry has probably exceeded all of our expectations in terms of visitor numbers. We've clearly exceeded the 2019 pre-COVID figures, and it's a key reason why people come to the city. And one of the pieces of work that we're currently doing is positioning the museum as a key economic driver, not only in terms of the education and the story of the city and our people, but the fact that people are coming for that reason. They want to understand that time and place, but they want to put it in the context of current day, and they want to put it in the context of international solidarity. So as I mentioned, we delivered our first international school, and it's our intention that we will deliver these international schools annually. We've already reached out to all of the institutions and organisations that are attached to the Civil Rights Trail in the United States, and we look very much forward to developing those relationships and partnerships. So as well as those key strategic partnerships and tackling justice and legacy issues, becoming a platform for the families and others around the legacy legislation, we continue our daily work in schools and communities with work with youth groups. We continue to have uncomfortable conversations with around the peace process and its impact with Protestant Unionist loyalist people, with former combatants. So let me say that the AOH contribution is vital to that work. It is vital to ensure that we remember those who were murdered on Bloody Sunday, but that we ensure that the story of our people and place is never, ever forgotten. And it's used as a benchmark for those who want to learn from the past in order to shape and drive the future across the island. So, Gurma Elgud, and thank you so much for everybody who contributes.
Had a number of cross-community projects that we support. We're going to cross-border project that we support. Duchess Oriel.
Thank you. Kiadeve Akarja. On behalf of Duchess Oriel, I want to thank all of you in America who have given your time to fundraise and contribute to the Freedom of All Ireland Fund. We are based in the T. Cullen Centre in South Armagh, an area that was labelled as bandit country in the 70s by the British Secretary of State, who was attempting to dehumanise the good people of that area and was part of a wider criminalisation policy. That criminalisation policy not only demonised the Republican and nationalist community, but also removed political status from our POWs, which led to the blanket protest, escalating to the No Wash and ultimately the hunger strikes of 1980 and 1981. Duchess Oriel are attempting to remove that label and stigma by reintroducing the local people to the rich heritage of Irish culture and storytelling. In recent weeks, we've seen Michelle O'Neill make history as the first Irish Republican woman to hold the office of First Minister. We have never been closer to a united Ireland, but as we advance towards that goal, we must never forget where we have come from and the sacrifices that were made by many along the way. This year, one of the projects that we were able to do, thanks to the kind donations given by the members of AOH, we held a weekend of events centred around Wolfe Tone and the 1798 rebellion, tying in the role played by local people from around the South Armagh area. Over that weekend, we had over 400 people, and many of them young people, coming through the doors to hear historical lectures and look at the boards of documents and stories. And thanks to your kind donations, we were able to subsidise a historical play called The Murder of Wolfe Tone, which puts forward an interesting alternative perspective on the death of Wolfe Tone. Everything costs money, and we couldn't do it without you in America. Our ultimate aim is to have a permanent display of the locally related documents and pictures and stories, along with the artefacts from the plantation period right through to today, and have it as a permanent feature to complement the South Armagh tours that are also run from the centre. We are seeking to revitalise the area by reviving and promoting all aspects of Irish culture and celebrating both communities' nationalist and unionist traditions together. We want South Armagh to share and promote its unique history, and we want the area to become synonymous with Irish culture and heritage, and have the good people of South Armagh build upon that strong sense of identity. And we're teaching future generations to have pride in their culture and in their past. Arts and culture have an important role to play in the healing of any fractured society, as we seek not only to deal with our past hurts, but also to be able to move forward in a positive way. It provides an outlet for us to express ourselves emotionally in an honest way as we see it. South Armagh has always had a rich tapestry of traditional Irish culture and ways. We can tell our stories through drama, keep our local history alive through stories and storytelling, and even through song and dance. Dúchas Orióil is relevant, appropriate, and vital in the South Armagh area, and it's thanks to you and the AOH that we're able to provide the classes and events that we do. We want to thank you all. We have a long road ahead to accomplish all that we want, but your donations and fundraising are helping us to do that. And we want you to know that we appreciate everything that you're doing and every single dollar that you raise. Gora Mag. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Our final recipient, the ONealalsa Pipban, actually could not be here today. They have their most important commemoration of the year is occurring right now, and they felt it was obligatory for them to be there to play at that commemoration. We understand that. They have somebody here who'll pick up the check, but again, we want to say how important their work is. We acknowledge what they're doing today and putting that work and duty and obligation to the memory of Irish patriots in their area above being here with us receiving money. Before I go, I just want to again say to every group here, every group online, you are an inspiration to us in America. The way that we can collect money like this, do the political work we do all of the work that we do, is because we're inspired by you. We see you work for Freedom for All Ireland. We want to be part of it. And again, the people around the country, as well as those in this room from the AOH, I want to again congratulate, thank, express my appreciation and my pride in all of the efforts that we have together so that we can make donations like these possible, that we can give them the support that they deserve that we're giving today, and that we can do the things that we can do to make Freedom for All Ireland that much closer. With that, I'll turn it over to our national president, Danny O'Connell.
Let's hear it from Martin Galvin. What incredible work Martin does for everybody in this room, the Hibernians from America and our friends from Ireland and the folks online. We really appreciate your efforts, Martin. Thank you. Before I close, I'd like to bring my right arm, our tour director, our national vice president for the Ancient Order Hibernians up to say a few words. And then Kevin McNab, if you make your way up front here too as well. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Martin. It's a great honor to be here today. And in a special way, please let's remember our two friends who are not, Vic, of course, and Father Gary. We look forward to the time where we can hear Vic again sing the songs of Irish freedom and have a chat with Father Gary. But we probably saved about 20 minutes by not having Father Gary here. But you know, this is great. One of the greatest pride I have at my job is when I did the Freedom for All Ireland job and started doing these tours. And I know there's a lot of people that are be watching this who came here, saw what we do, made a difference, and gone back to be a disciple and to be the people in the AOH that go to their divisions and tell the story. So this we feel is the most important webinar of the year, tells the folks where the money has gone. And like Martin said, we started this back in the 70s with Green Cross. I remember going to Green Cross and delivering a check as the Sinn Féin stop. You know, I think in a special way today, we've got to also remember all of those who gave their lives for Irish freedom, but all of those who worked in these groups that are no longer with us and spent so much of their time trying to get you know, justice and support. Together, we can make a difference. Nowhere says that more than here. If you were here 12 years ago, we'd be standing outside in a wasteland. We were very, very instrumental in making this work. In 2007, Mark Thompson, myself, and Mike Glass said, you know what, let's bring some people out to DC. We brought out 4 people, 2 from each community about collusion. And now Mark's a leading voice in the US. So we can make it. We recognize the past, we see what we're doing for the people for right now, but we'll look to that Ireland's future. And that's why we're so excited about what that is. And what always inspires me is all the people in this room and all the groups that work here. You always talk about a future Ireland for all the people of Ireland, all the traditions. You will never allow others to happen what happened to you. And that's inspiring. We're with you yesterday, we're with you today, and we will be with you tomorrow as we move to a united Ireland for all people. Thank you very much.
I would have loved to add a photo of Kevin when I said he had to come up here, but step up here with me for a minute, Kevin. And I'm going to ask you just say a couple words about your grandfather as we close today. But I wanted to remember a few people today. Our past national chaplain, Father Sullivan, served under 2 national presidents, passed away last week. Our past national president, George Clough, who I know Joe shaking his head there. A lot of people know what George did, an attorney out of St. Louis, who really, Judge McKay said it best. He said he was my mentor, he was our leader, and he was our confidant. And we lost George less than 2 weeks ago. He'll be buried next Saturday. And as I was thinking of the two of them, and as we were talking about some prayers, I naturally thought about my father and how proud he would be if he was with us today. And in that same year, I also lost my mentor to the Ancient Order Hibernians, which was Tom McNab. And Tom was a national president who just didn't want to stop working, became the national secretary, and served for 30 years. And I know anyone that's been around here in this room knew who Tom McNab was. And we've been talking about the AOH is getting younger, thanks to the help of our friends at the St. Patrick's Center, thanks to the McNab Scholarship that was created a couple years ago, and our new marketing program geared to go to the young folks. Kevin is a member of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, 16 years old, right? And this mean old man made you come up, but Tom McNab is probably more proud than anybody in heaven today looking down at this event because you're here. And the only one maybe more proud than Tom might be your grandma. But if you just say, give us a quick word on your grandpa and what you think he meant to the Ancient Order Hibernians. And I gave him no time to prepare. Go ahead, Kevin.
I didn't really prepare anything for today, but I think he really lived through his reputation. He had a great reputation. I've learned a lot about him. I didn't really know him too well, but I've heard only great things about him from his life. He spent a lot of time with Hibernians, like 30 some odd years. working as was a secretary,
Mhm.
national secretary. And I think that's a really hard thing to do. I heard it was like a second job to him. He put his life into the work he did for the Hibernians. He came here like 30 times. And I think that's an insane amount of like dedication, and it's inspiring to everybody.
Thank you, Kevin. I know I figured it out that Tom McNab's signature is on over 1 million documents when you go through our membership cards over 30 years and as president, as well as every item that was ever sent out officially from the Ancient Order Hibernians. But we're getting younger. We're building a new Irish America for the future, and it's people like Kevin that are helping us to do it. I'd like to thank all of our friends from Belfast, our host, Brian McKee. Brian asked that we please finish the sandwiches or he has to eat them for the next week, and he would like a little bit of variety. Our folks on the tour, but most importantly, our friends from every state in the union who made a donation to make this one of our largest ever donations for Freedom for Ireland. Thank you all and God bless.